Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Lakers newsletter: what's going on with all the Lakers injuries? If you're looking for encouraging signs in regard to the groin injury that James suffered Saturday in Boston, the fact that he stayed with the team in New York instead of bolting back to Los Angeles for treatment is something. He headed back to Los Angeles on Wednesday, avoiding a pair of overnight flights after the Lakers play in Milwaukee on Thursday and Denver on Friday. There still isn't any public timetable on for his return, but here are a couple of important facts. 1. He suffered a major groin injury in his first season with the Lakers and missed more than a month. And James said this injury isn't that. And 2. We know James didn't hurt any pops or anything like that, which he experienced in the more serious injury. Enjoying this newsletter? Consider subscribing to the Los Angeles Times. But we also know that groin injuries can be tricky, and with the playoffs looming, the Lakers and James want to make sure he's as healthy as possible for the final push of the season. Luka Doncic: he's been on the injury report for calf injury management, for back soreness Monday and for ankle soreness Thursday. But as of late, Doncic has been good enough to be on the court, and that's what the Lakers should expect. Teams, though, are going to be physical with Doncic, especially without James, and bruises and soreness seem inevitable. Rui Hachimura is back on the court doing work, a really positive sign after he missed the last 6 games because of knee pain. He left the win against Minnesota on February 27 after a dunk, but the injury was actually something he'd been playing through since the win in Denver 5 days before. He's out Thursday and Friday, but it seems likely he'll be back during the homestand next week, a welcome sign after J.J. Redick called Hachimura the glue to what the Lakers are trying to do on both sides of the court. Jaxson Hayes: like Hachimura, Hayes won't play in the next 2 games. He also doesn't have any structural damage to his right knee, but he did suffer a minor hyperextension in the win against the Knicks, leading to swelling related to a bone bruise. The Lakers really missed him in their last 2 losses, and they'll really miss him Thursday and Friday, but my understanding is this isn't viewed to be a long-term problem. Hayes, who has an incredibly important stretch of basketball ahead of him personally with unrestricted free agency waiting this summer, is expected back next week provided things keep moving in a good direction. The NBA's most unbreakable records, including marks by Wilt Chamberlain, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry. Last week, LeBron James crossed the 50,000-point scoring mark, combining regular season and playoffs, and created a club that could only include 1 member even decades into the future. Thursday night, Stephen Curry can create another one-man category. He needs just 2 3-pointers to become the first player in NBA history to reach 4,000 in a career. Only one other player in history has even made 3,000, and that's LA Clippers star James Harden. Harden is 35 and nearly 900 threes behind Curry, who turns 37 on March 14. Getting to 4,000 alone would be difficult for Harden, who has averaged roughly 200 treys per season. But catching Curry? Probably impossible. Curry has added nearly 90 to his career lead over Harden just this season. When James and Curry retire, the milestones they've established could well be headed for immortality. Here is a look at some other individual records across the NBA that will likely stand the test of time. Wilt Chamberlain's entire 1961-62 season is essentially written in statistical concrete, never to be duplicated. He averaged 50.4 points per game, the highest ever, and no one is close. Michael Jordan is the only player besides Chamberlain to average more than 37. Chamberlain averaged 39.5 shots per game, the highest ever, and no one is close. No one else has averaged more than 30. Elgin Baylor once averaged 29.7, Jordan and Allen Iverson each averaged 27 once. Another mark sure to stand forever is his 48.5 minutes per game average. He was never substituted out that season. He only missed 8 minutes of one game after he was ejected in the 4th quarter. He reached an average of more than 48 minutes because he played 7 overtime games. He was miraculously almost never in foul trouble, averaging a career-low 1.5 a game. Rasheed Wallace's 41 technical fouls. Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals lives in infamy in Portland because of controversial whistles. Wallace's relationship with officials went from bad to worse, and it played out the following season as he racked up a record 41 technicals on the way to 18 ejections. In 2006, the NBA put in new rules that called for suspensions once a player reaches 16 for a season, and it has probably iced Wallace's record for good. He's third all-time in technical fouls with 317 over his 16 seasons, behind only Karl Malone, who had 332, and Charles Barkley, who had 329. Lakers projected to trade for double-double center in bold offseason move. Los Angeles Lakers guard Luka Doncic passes off to Los Angeles Lakers center Jaxson Hayes under the basket and around Charlotte Hornets center Mark Williams. It's no secret that the Los Angeles Lakers' top priority in the offseason is to look for a starting-caliber center following the failed Mark Williams deal. Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz proposed an offseason trade that could land the Lakers their coveted starting center to pair with Luka Doncic. Los Angeles Lakers receive Walker Kessler. Utah Jazz receive Dalton Knecht, 2031 first-round pick, unprotected. Kessler, 23, is a massive presence in the middle who's averaging a double-double, 11.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, while swatting 2.3 shots a game and leading the NBA in field goal percentage, 72.7%, Swartz wrote. Utah may not be shopping Kessler, although a future unprotected first and a good prospect in Knecht, 14.3 points, 39.3% from three as a starter, should at least start a conversation. Kessler was on top of the Lakers' wish list when they still had Anthony Davis, who was clamoring for a center to slide him back to his preferred power forward position. The Lakers' calculus changed when they swapped Davis for Doncic, who prefers to play with a lob threat. Kessler isn't as athletic as Derek Lively II or Daniel Gafford, but the Jazz center has developed into one of the elite rim protectors in the league, which on paper, perfectly fits the Lakers' defensive approach. It's hard to imagine that the Jazz will accept only a first-round pick plus a young player for Kessler. Leading to the trade deadline, ESPN's Shams Charania reported that the Jazz repeatedly rejected the Lakers as they could not meet their steep asking price for their prized center. In December, Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype reported that the Jazz's asking price is at least 2 first-round picks. Teams gauging Kessler's availability in Utah have come away with the sense that it'll take at least 2 first-round picks to pry him from the Jazz, a high asking price in their eyes, Scotto wrote at the time. Yesterday's price may not be this summer's price for Kessler, who is a much better player with no injury history compared to Williams, whom the Lakers initially viewed as worth Knecht, a pick swap and their 2031 first-round pick. And the Jazz may no longer view the Lakers' 2031 pick as valuable as before, especially if Doncic signs an extension this summer to remain in Los Angeles. While the Lakers' biggest weakness right now is the center position, their biggest challenge in the home stretch of the season is LeBron James' health. ESPN's Shams Charania reported on Sunday, March 9, that James is expected to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks with a groin strain. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul was non-committal on when his top client can return from his groin injury. He knows his body better than anybody, so we kind of have to follow him there, Paul said on The Pat McAfee Show on Tuesday, March 11. So I won't put a timetable on it. I'll let LeBron decide what was to be done there. He has a great trainer and medical staff with the Lakers, and Mike Nanches, Lakers athletic trainer, leads that for him, and so, I'll just be in a lockstep with those guys. And you, fan? What do you think about Walker Kessler's situation? Write to us in the comments.